Hi everyone, it's Claire back again. So I'm back to comparing a range of the same or very similar colour or colour category. So these are creams and soft neutral shades, and really I just want to see if I've made any mistakes here in keeping some colours that are very similar to each other. So this is really just to satisfy my curiosity, but I hope you stick around to watch. I know that for some people, like I said with the greys, this is more of a boring colour, or a boring shade, but if you like neutrals then maybe you will enjoy this video. So I'm going to try to go with paler colours and then end with some darker colours. So we'll start with this one here, which is one of the Essence Colour and Care, and this is a very, very pale peach, but pale enough to be a kind of creamy neutral colour. So this is Take a Break, and I have yet this spring to break out this collection, but I do love it. Really opaque for such a pale colour, and I love these flat paddle brushes. So that's Take a Break, very, very pale. It is going to look white, but if you put it against the white, you can see the creaminess there at the bottom. So let's try this one here. This to me looks quite similar, and I do love this shade. This is Coconut by Barry M. I think this might just be a little bit darker. I'm a real sucker for these off-whites. Similar kind of formula to the Essence, but maybe, yeah, they're both very similar. Okay. Yeah, they're pretty much the same. I'll come back to those when I've got a second coat and see if any are worth destashing. I've got an urge to maybe destash the Barry M because the Essence is part of a collection. This is a brighter creamy tone, so this has got much more of a kind of yellow, pale yellow, but it's still that creamy colour. And this is Lauren B. This came in a Me box, and this is called Nude Number 1. So that's that one, and here is my creamy NARS, and this is called Anarchy. Let's see, I can't quite remember what the consistency of this one is like, what the formula's like. But again, NARS have these flat brushes. On the first coat that looks very similar to the Lauren B, but I know that it's not quite as bright, not quite as yellowy. You see them better there. Okay, so that's the first four, and then this one here is Naked Canvas by Orly, and it's got a very pretty iridescent shimmer, and I can't remember if this is visible or not on the nail. Yes, it is. So it's a cream with this opalescent shimmer, which you can see even on that first coat. Okay, that's Naked Canvas. This is a Lottie London, which I remember when I first wore this, I loved it. It's called Intern Idol. But it's been a while, so I can't remember. It's got quite a crelly, very, very high shine. I don't know if it is crelly, maybe it's just not as opaque as the others. But that's Lottie Intern Idol. Now I think these two are quite similar to each other. This is Tiramisu for Two, and this one here is That's Putting It Mild. So they're both these putty kind of creams, but with a slight, I'd say a dash of pink, but not nowhere near enough to put them in a kind of dusky pink category. This is the OPI, Nicole by OPI. So that's Putting It Mild. I do like this one. This is one of the, with the hit and miss Nicole by OPIs, this is the one that's a bit of a hit with me. And I also, not surprisingly, really like Tiramisu for Two, but I didn't know they were so similar to each other. Now it looks to me, and I know it probably sounds like I'm making excuses, but this is a slightly different tone. It's got a little bit more of a kind of slight toffee tone to it. And actually it is a better formula than the Nicole by OPI. Okay, interesting. Now the last four here are slightly darker, so I'll go with this kind of coffee-ish type of cream. And this is Barry M Sun Kissed, and it is from the Coconut Infusions. Nice lovely flat brush again. Yeah, this is definitely more of a kind of creamy coffee type of shade, and they're just great formulas on those Coconut Infusions. This is a recent Essence Glow and Care, and did a review on these this set, and actually it's funny, I couldn't see the shimmer very well, but compared to all of the creams that I've just applied, I can see a little bit of a shimmer in there actually. Just a hint. Yeah, definitely just a hint. Okay, the next one is this Catrice that was sent to me from the Victorian Poetry Collection, and this was sent to me by the lovely Catherine. I won a giveaway of this set. I think there was 5, 6 of them in the set, and this is Noble Nude. So it dries to a kind of shimmery, soft satin. Really, really impressive formula actually on these. I think I've worn the lavender one from this collection, but I definitely need to wear this one. Much more of a pronounced shimmer than the Glow and Care. And then finally my Mavala Matte Trench Beige. And I think I've said this before, it just reminds me of the material in a trench coat, and it's just a very solid one coat matte. Okay, so they all look very similar, but that's my creams for the first. Now I wonder if I'll get them mixed up when I'm applying a second coat, but I'll be back and we'll have a look to see if any of them can be destashed. Okay, so here is the second coat. It does make a difference to how the polish sits on the swatch wheel, definitely, and it's easier to make that comparison. I'm just losing the last bit of daylight at the moment. It's like early evening, so I'm trying to make sure that we can see the colours and the comparisons. Now straight away I would say that these two are too similar to each other to justify having both of them, and I do want to keep this one in the set, so I am keeping that one, and I'm going to let Barry M Coconut go, which is a gorgeous polish, but I just don't feel as though I can justify having both of them. They're just too similar. They look white, I know there, but they are very, very faintly cream. So the Barry M is going. These two again, I think, are too similar to each other as well. The NARS is a slightly more subdued, and definitely the Lauren B is a bit peachier, but I'm actually going to destash the Lauren B. I'm going to keep the Orly because you can see that shimmer. These two here are, this one here is the Lottie, and it's these three are very similar actually. So what I'm going to do is destash these two. I'm getting confused now, so I'm going to destash these two, and I'm going to keep Tiramisu for 2, because the 3 of them there just look too similar to each other. I'm going to keep the Barry M Coconut Infusion. I'm also going to keep the Essence Glow and Care, and the Catrice, and the smudged Mavala, because to me they're very different from each other and different finishes, but these 3 are too similar to justify having all 3. So I will be destashing these 4 from this comparison, and I'll leave some details in the description box below about how you can get hold of them. I'd say they sort of sit on the shoulder in terms of how much I've used them. The Lauren B is fairly new. I think I've just worn it once, swatched it a couple of times, but yeah, let me know. Thanks for watching. See you in the next one. Bye.